So good morning guys, welcome to today's pre-market analysis. So I hope my audio is audible to everyone and my screen is also visible. So good morning knowledge acumen by. So we'll start with Nifty itself. So yesterday we have marked our level with respect to the pivot point of previous days, high low, and this particular close as well. So with respect to that, this green line was our pivot line. So we have been analyzed that any movement below this particular pivot point level with respect to a volume on the downside will bring our support 1 and support 2 range to be active. So here you can see that on this particular start of the day, first 15-minute candle, you can clearly see that it closed below this particular pivot line point for the previous day, and it gradually came up to our support 1 and closed near to our support 2. So same way with respect to yesterday's, so day before yesterday's closing, high and low, we will plot today's pivot level and represent all these zones. So I'll start with the points. So for Nifty, the pivot line now lies at 25,650 range. So this will be the pivot line. Not this is not the exact point, but we are considering this range as the pivot point. So we will move on to the support one. Support one will be at 25. 25 500. We are no 520 is the range, so we can consider this as 25 550 range. This will be the support one, and support 2 will be at 25 450 100 points each. Support 3 will be at 25 350. 320 is actually 20. Let's give that only 25 320 will be the this will be the three support zones for the day with respect to our pivot point. So let's move on to the resistance one. Resistance one will be at 25 730. So R2 will be at 25 850. So R3 will be at 25 950. So these are the three support and resistance with respect to the pivot point for the day. So let's zone this out quickly. Let's change it to the 1 day time frame for a quick note. I hope this is all visible to you guys. So let's quickly mark this pivot line only at first. 25,650 is our pivot line for the day. So we know that any movement below or above this particular pivot line level with a higher volume confirmation, then definitely we can choose that direction for that particular momentum trade, and any other levels we will discuss it after zoning this out. So R1 also we can mark here. R1 is at 25,730. 25,730 will be our R1 resistance one. So with respect to this, the bullish zone, which will be R2. We always consider R2 and R3 as the bullish zone. So 850 I'll mark first. So after that, our R3 is at 25,950. So yesterday it was, you can clearly see it was at 26,000. So gradually it is decreasing to the downside. So we will mark the consolidation range. Let's say that what if Nifty stays in consolidation? This will be in between the support one and R1. So we consider this to be the consolidation or sideways zone if Nifty tends to remain in that particular range bound market scenario. So this will be the range why market as support one, in between support one and resistance one. Support one will be at 25,520, we know that, and R1 is at 25,730. So we have almost 200 points gap in between that. So I guess this is all right. So 25,520 and 25,730. Okay, this is fine. So we'll mark the bearish zone. I'll remove these lines. So we are kind of coming back to this particular uh, the symmetrical triangle pattern which we have drawn earlier back in days. So we might having a chance of retesting it. So we will mark the bearish zone for the day with respect to pivot line. So bearish zone will be active when it touches the support one, which is at 25,520, and the second range will be support 2, which is at 25,450. 25,450 will be the second range. So these are the three zones uh, with respect to our pivot line. Well, let's quickly mark the support 3 as well. Support 3 is at 25,320. So like I always say, any movement above this particular pivot point with a higher volume, then we can choose a directional trade confirmation. So with to the upside. So any movement above this particular pivot point, you can clearly see that market closed below this pivot point. So any regaining or retesting at this particular point with a higher volume and sustaining above this level can lead to our resistance one, so other bullish zone. So we can consider the bullish direction for this day. So any movement above this can validate our bullish trend or bullish continuation in our Nifty bank. So not Nifty bank, Nifty 50. So any moment above this can again we can rethink again on the bullish continuation. So right now it is closed below this. The market actually previously closed below this pivot line level. You can see here that so as of now it is on a bearish sentiments. The market is kind of weak, not on a bearish sentiments. Market is weak, it is still on the bullish trend, but it is weak now. So with this weakness presently, any movement above this pivot line with a higher volume can validate our bullish continuation. So as long as it is trading below this pivot line, I will go for the bearish side only. So I can look forward for a target up to this support 1 and support 2 if volume sustains, or else it will be consolidating on this particular level. So these are the three zones for Nifty 50, Nifty 50, and this will be the pivot line. So always consider the volume confirmation with respect to whatever trade you are taking on a directional perspective. So these are the levels for Nifty 50. Let's quickly move on to Bank Nifty. So these were the levels yesterday we have marked, similar to all three other index, Sensex and Bank Nifty turned bearish zone. So let's mark today's one. So Bank Nifty is having pivot point. Bank Nifty is having pivot point at 57,900 almost. So it is 8 95 93 range. So we'll mark it as 57,900 for the day. And with respect to that, we are plotting the support one, which is at 57 670 670. Let's mark it as 670 only. So support 2 will be at 57 500, and support 3 will be at 57 300. We'll mark it at 300. So these are the three support levels, and we will quickly move on to the resistance part. Resistance is at 58 1050, 58,050, and 2 will be at 58,280 250 range. 58,000, 58,250, and R3 you can consider it 58,450, 58,450. So these are the three support and resistance with respect to today's pivot point, which is at 57,800. So let's quickly zone this out. So we didn't have time yesterday and day before yesterday. So today let's zone this out. Let's change the color to green. So the coordinates are at, so bullish zone is always between R2 and R3. So 58 250 and 58 450 will be the zones, the bullish zones. And on case of a consolidation stage, if Bank Nifty remains in consolidation, we will mark that also out. It will be always between S1 and R1. So S1 support 1 will be at 57 670. Support 2 will be at 57 500. So there is a 100-point difference from previous. Oh, it is R1. No, I marked the bearish zone. So 58,050. Change the color. So we will mark the bearish zone as well. It will be between support 1 and 57 670, support 1 and support 2, support 3 actually, support 2, so 57 500. So we'll mark the pivot line and the support 3 as well. 57 300, 350 300 range. We will mark the pivot line, which is at 57,900 for the day. Pivot point, we require high volume for confirmation. So you mark the R1 also 5850. So similar to Nifty, what I have explained. So similar to Nifty, so Bank Nifty also, any movement above this particular point, pivot line with a higher volume will validate our bullish continuation. But market actually closed below this, so go for a bearish view only in Bank Nifty if this sustains below this. As long as it sustains below this particular pivot line, so any moment above this with a higher volume, we can continue with the bullish continuation. So these are the three support and resistance, and also the zones with respect to our pivot line. So we will quickly move on to the Sensex part with the levels. So with respect to Sensex, our pivot point is at 83,650. So let's consider 83,650 is our pivot line, pivot point. So with respect to that, we will plot the support and resistance. So support one is at 83 to 220, 230 range, 83, 83, 230, and S2 is at 82, 82, 83,000. So it is actually 82,996. So we will mark it as 83,000 only. So support 3 will be at 82, 600. So these are the three support zones, and resistance 1 will be at 83, 890. So 83, 890 will be the resistance 1, and R2 will be at 84,300, 84,300, and R3 will be at 84,530. 530 will be this. So these are the zones. These are the support and resistance, three support and resistance for this particular Sensex. With respect to this, we will zone this out. So like I always said, R1 and R2 will be the R2 and R3 will be the bullish zones. So 384, 300 plus 84, 530. 530 will be the this bullish zone for Sensex. And if it is staying consolidated, let's mark that also out. So it will be between R1 and S1. So R1 is at 83, 890, and support 1 is at 83, 230. So we have a quite broader range for this. On the bearish side, it will be between S1 and S2. So any movement below this particular S1, we can validate that short-term bearish movement or weakness in the market. So 83, 230 I'll mark as the first zone, and 83,000 as the second zone. Sorry. 82,600. We'll mark the third support zone as well. So if the pivot line we will mark, it will be coming between. Let's mark the pivot line in green. So 83,650 is the pivot point. So R1 also we'll mark it out. R1 will be at 83,890. These are the particular points shown with respect to the pivot line support and resistance. So, like I said, in Bank Nifty and Nifty, any movement above this particular pivot line can validate our bullish continuation. But you can see clearly as per the other two indexes which we have explained previously. So it closed below this pivot line. So a bullish continuation can only be validated above this pivot point line which we have marked here in green. So any movement above this, and if it is retesting or reclaiming this level with a higher volume, can validate our bullish continuation. So as far as it is trading below this particular pivot point, then definitely we will go for the bearish view only. So we will have a quick look back to Nifty 50's RSI as well. So as our opening is at it's nearly flat only, flat opening we have. So it is opening below this pivot line. So any movement above this, if Nifty is reclaiming this level with a higher volume, then we can continue with the bullish trend. As far as it is trading below, then definitely I will personally have a bearish view on this. So we'll quickly add the RSI. What the stats on RSI? So on a 1 day time frame, it is, you can, I hope you guys can see. So after marking that previous high, so when Nifty almost tested the 26,100 level twice. So after marking that previous high at 70 to 73 RSI, it gradually started reversing. So you can clearly see that it is right now it closed nearly 53 range, so it is considered as a neutral. So when we consider the RSI 50 or any range between 50 and 45 50, we are considered it's as a neutral sentiments. So let's see with respect to the pivot point, then it is a bearish view as per the opening as well. So any movement above this pivot point with respect to the volume, higher volume, then we can validate our bullish continuation in the market. So you guys need to keep this in mind that volume should be a confirmation for the day. So you should properly wait for first 15 minutes candles breakout. You can trade a breakout trade or a breakdown trade with respect to the volume. So consider volume as a validation for your directional trade. So you can, if it is downside, you can definitely ride up to this particular S1 and S2 if it is sustaining that same momentum. So let's have a quick look at FIA's data, showing data with respect to in the cash market. So 1,000 each, you can see here that DIA added 1,000 crore to the cash market, and FIA is continuing the trend with toning off nearly 1,200 crores from the market. So we will have a quick look at FIV's FNO data with respect to FNO data. So on 4th, they are still on net bearish this time. So they are properly have an idea, properly have a risk management for this. So with respect to the opening, wait for proper direction, or wait for the proper volume confirmation to enter into a trade. So we'll have a quick look at NSE's indices as well, pre-market indices. So pre-market order collection closed. Yeah, we do have a good run as of now, but you should be properly have be cautious opened here. So properly have a view with respect to the pivot line. So only validate your particular trade or plan your particular trade by a confirmation in the volume side. So just let us wait for this particular level to it actually reclaim this pivot line. So if it is sustaining above this level, you can go for the bullish side, but wait for first initial 15 to 5 to 15 minutes to pull out a trade in this. So I'll wind up for the day and have a good day, everyone, and thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, volume less, you should confirm it with the volume only. So definitely confirm your directional trade with your volume.